Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day?
Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is August 30th, 2025, and Bitcoin is currently facing its toughest challenge yet for this holiday weekend uptrend. We're going to look at why that is, and we're going to look at how it's been doing in the past day and a half. All right. Also, in this episode, we're going to check on altcoins and why they're about to break a collective 500-day resistance. All right. And what that could mean for the next moves in the altcoin space, generally speaking. Okay, so guys, if that sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get into it. Let's start today with Bitcoin on the hourly time frame. All right, the context is actually, I lied, 4 hourly time frame. The context of this analysis, once again, has to be framed in terms of the 2-week channel, the 2-week descending falling wedge that Bitcoin's been in, as it lost the all-time high of 124k. Okay, and that was approximately a little more than 2 weeks ago. All right, as you can see here, I have it in blue. It's a falling wedge. These patterns are typically bullish. They tend to break out probabilistically, and that's what's been happening. So past 2 weeks, we just been going up and down and up and down and up and down, generally down, but up and down within the confines of this channel. Now, remember channel trading 101. The bottom is support, the top is resistance, the midline, the heart line is, or the control line, some people call it, is resistance when you're below it, support when you're above it. And we are currently right below the midline of this channel. Now let's zoom back into the hourly time frame. So you can see quite clearly on the hourly time frame, Bitcoin for the past, let's see, for the past 18 hours has been fighting the resistance of the midline resistance of this 2-week channel. All right, this 2+ week channel. I think it's 17 or 18 days. So this effectively represents 18 days of resistance that you're up against. All right, obviously, price action, sometimes you're dealing with 1,000, 1,500, 500-day resistances. 18-day resistances aren't the end of the world, but I don't want you to think of it in terms of time so much. Why? Because the resistance is only as good as the liquidity or the buying or selling, the buying pressure below it. Okay, so the buying pressure that we're going to use for our purported holiday weekend pump is right here. Okay, so that on a 18-day, so the question is this small time frame accumulation as well as all of this, because this also is accumulation, right? This is why falling wedges, falling patterns are bullish, because they're actually, in other words, an accumulation that then gets translated into an impulse. And that's also why the target of these falling patterns tend to be the nexus or the beginning of the falling pattern. Does that make sense? So you're trying to break 2-week resistance, which is not the end of the world, 18-day resistance, but you're dealing with this buying pressure as well as all the buying pressure that's been accumulated throughout these 18 days. So you should be able to do it, and because you have an equivalent amount of buying pressure needed to break this midline. And you've done it plenty of times, right? Obviously, you've retraced, and you're probably going to retrace once again, but you've done it multiple times, yeah? So when you're looking, just a side note, when you're looking at much larger resistances, like a 500-day resistance we're going to talk about in a bit, the 1500-day resistances, 1800-day resistances, it's not about the time so much, but then it begs the question, how long did you spend accumulating, creating buying pressure to break that long time frame resistance? And if you didn't spend long, then don't expect to break it, at least in a meaningful way that doesn't retrace upon itself. Therein lies not the secret, but really a principle of why certain assets are expected or can be expected to break bullishly in bull markets and create sustainable higher highs and higher lows, while others aren't. It's all about the buying pressure created in the accumulation channels. All right, that's enough of that. So Bitcoin, 18 days of resistance. And what have we done? In the immediate short term, we've created a bullish reversal pattern. So this is quite refreshing, or that's not the word I'm looking for. It's it gives confidence. It lends confidence to the idea that we're likely going to break it, because we formed right here, as you can see, a head and shoulders bullish reversal pattern with a neckline being right here, right? We broke out and retested that pattern. This is exactly what you want to see. You want to see a rounded bottom at support, right? An inverse head and shoulders or any kind of W reversal pattern, any kind of reversal pattern. You want to see a breakout of said reversal pattern and a retest of said reversal pattern. We have all the elements probabilistically of Bitcoin breaking this 18-day resistance, okay? And so although it's fighting for its life, although Bitcoin seems like it's stagnant, if you go on the smaller time frames, you can see exactly what it's doing. And it's very confidence inspiring for an ensuing break of the resistance that it's under. And once it does, yes, it does have other resistances above, but remember how important, let's go back to the 4-hourly time frame. Remember how important the heart line or the midline or the control, the point of control of a channel is. There's a reason we call it the heart line. There's a reason we call it the point of control. The midline is where the channel is controlled. It's where the channel is won or lost. When you're above the midline of the channel, you're more likely to break bullishly from the channel. Okay, generally speaking, let's just say that. When you're below it, you're more likely to break down from the channel. We're currently below it, but why are we bullish? One, because of the larger time frame context, and larger time frame reads tend to play out more often than not, and they take precedence over the smaller time frame reads. And the second reason is even on the smaller time frame read, it's very likely that you're going to repeat a break of that midline, that heart line, and matriculate up and through the channel. All right, your next resistance in Bitcoin is the bottom of this channel right here, which is a what is this? I think this is a 40-day channel, 50-day channel. Okay, it's a 50-day channel. The bottom of this 50-day channel is support. We lost it, now it's resistance. That's your next large resistance. and then your next one is the midline of this 50-day channel, and so on and so forth, right? You have resistances that you have to deal with, granted, but first order of business is dealing with this falling wedge, and the subsequent resistances should be broken in due course. So that's my Bitcoin analysis on the small time frame. This is why I like my high time frame read, and I'm still bullish in the immediate short term on Bitcoin's price action because of everything I just stated. And it seems that this yeah, just everything I just stated. That's it. There's nothing more. All right? So that's Bitcoin. Now, I want to talk about altcoins, right? This is, people can lie and say, "Oh, crypto's been great," but it hasn't. It really hasn't. Principally due to the fact that altcoins have underperformed. Altcoins haven't done much of anything, generally speaking, right? In about 2-3 years. And we can see that. Today, I want to look not at the total 3, but at the others chart, and not at Bitcoin dominance, but at others Bitcoin chart. Let me explain. So, we use the total 3, which is all the altcoins minus Ethereum, and it gives us a general understanding. It's an indicator. It's a, it aggregates all the altcoins in one chart and normalizes them. So it's an indicator. It's not an actual asset, but it gives us a decent idea as to what altcoins are doing. But as I've said in the past few episodes, the total 3 chart is so heavily skewed to the larger market caps. Even though you take out Ethereum, the larger market caps still make it so that it's hard to see anything accurate insofar as the smaller market cap assets and their price action. So the others chart is the total cryptocurrency market cap minus the big 10, the top 10. So Bitcoin all the way down to the 10th most largest cryptocurrency market cap. It's not perfect, but it's a better approximation of what most cryptocurrency altcoins are doing, okay? And most people have what's in the others, right, in their portfolio. Just, it's basic math. There are tens of thousands of cryptos out there. Chances are you're dealing and, trading and holding the others and not, something in the top 3 or top 10. So, when you look at the others chart, what do you see? First order of business, and this is on the weekly time frame, we have a clear parabolic resistance. This is important. This is a 10-year resistance right here that I've put in as this dotted parabola. That will be respected once it's hit. So that's first order of business. But currently, we're not anywhere close to that. We are right now in this channel that's been going on for 500 days. And we are currently beneath or right below or right at the midline of this 500-day channel. Okay? I've extended the channel only because it's going to be useful in projecting price action, but right here is where we want to focus right now. This is the 500 days of channeled price action that I'm referring to. And right now, as you can see, we're right below the heart line, the midline. And we're showing strength at it, as you'll see in just a moment when we zoom in. So, first thing I want to say about this and the projection is the first resistance, once we break this resistance, or the next resistance rather, after this midline, is going to be the parabolic resistance, the 10-year parabolic resistance. That's about 190% away from where we're at. And again, this is 10 years, as you can see, more or less than 10 years. So from 2018 to current day. So let's just say 7 years. Let's just say 7 years to be more accurate. Okay, so we're at a 7-year resistance. Next level of resistance after the one that we're at is going to be up here. On this channel, I typically say, and I also say this on social media, you do not break resistance at resistance. You do not break support at support. That may seem counterintuitive, paradoxical, but it's not. So what do I mean by that? And that's relevant because here we're at resistance, yet I'm fully expecting to break resistance. Why then do I expect to break resistance at resistance in this case? It's only because the measured move started at support. This move, it's all one move right here. So you'll see my projection starts here. We started below the level of resistance. We started at support, and there's a reason you don't break resistance at resistance, because you gather liquidity from lower levels, and as you can see here, you're forming on the higher time frame an inverse head and shoulders or a W reversal pattern. It's a nice rounded bottom at support. So you have your left shoulder, your right shoulder, and your head with this W right here. You're likely to break up and out from this. Okay, that's on the weekly time frame. I think it's clear to see. Really quickly, back to Bitcoin, same principle. Okay, same principle. You do not break resistance at resistance. We're currently at resistance, as I showed on the hourly time frame. But why am I still bullish? Well, because the measured move doesn't start here. It started here at support. And once again, you can see a very nice inverse head and shoulders bullish reversal pattern. Also in this case, it is a W reversal pattern. It's a W forming the head, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So the measured move is never starting at resistance. If you're starting at resistance, you're not breaking it. You're just going to retrace back down to lower levels, gathering liquidity, and then trying again. Also, a pro tip is, you're likely to break it when you consolidate into resistance. So you tend to see this, right? Look at this, and we're gonna look at the same thing in the others chart. So, right, we started down here, and it's almost like price knows it's up against something, and so it starts working early, and it both matriculates upward and consolidates all at once. So it's forming these rising channels. These are quite bullish when you're meeting very staunch levels of resistance. You tend to see that, right? Let's go back to the others, and you can see a very similar pattern playing out here. Okay. Oh, whoops, wrong chart. Here, as you can see, and let's jump down into the daily time frame. Here you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Look, the measured move clearly started down here. Okay, and now you're into resistance with a running flat correction. All right, this is essentially, if you're, for my pattern analysis folks, you're forming I think they call this a rising wedge or an ascending triangle. I don't know which one. It's either called a rising wedge or an ascending triangle. Whichever one is bullish. I think one of them is bullish, and I think the ascending triangle is the bullish one and the rising wedge is the bearish one. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's one of those patterns that looks like a triangle that's up and to the right, but the bullish version that breaks up and not down. Okay? And that's what you're doing at resistance here. You can see this is quite bullish. Okay, and that's what you see on the daily time frame. So do expect resistance to break. You are not breaking resistance at resistance because the measured move starts at the bottom. That's a more advanced topic or concept, but that's what I mean for those of you wondering. You don't break resistance at resistance, you don't break support at support. The measured move always starts in terms of breaking resistance from support and in terms of breaking support from a level of resistance. All right, so like I said, next level is up here. What we can do now is, now that we have a more faithful representation of our smaller cap altcoins, and it looks bullish in the immediate short term, it looks to be on the brink of breaking a 500-day resistance, right? 500 plus day resistance. We can measure the approximate next staunch level of resistance before the next big retracement, okay? So, and I'm looking at altcoins. You want to look, when you're looking at altcoins and these indicators for altcoins, I think they're most helpful when you can identify where the big moves take place and where the big retracements take place. If you sell where the big retracements take place and you buy where the big moves take place, or right here, big moves take place, big move take place, big retracements take place, even though you're not reading your individual asset. And again, this is an indicator. It's not going to be, universally applicable to every asset, but by and large, many altcoins are going to fall under this pattern. They're going to trade like this just by the numbers, yeah? And so just measuring that move, it's a 200% move. So altcoins from here, before any major retracements, generally speaking, just like, rough back of the napkin estimate, do 200%. That is a good trade, right? This is a clear start to the big moves in alt season, right? Because alt season's already started. You can already see that. You could say alt season started here at the bottom in towards the end of June, but haven't really seen a big move. Why? Well, it's been a bunch of small moves consolidation, small move consolidation, small move consolidation. This is the first big move of alt season right here. Okay, and that's a 200% move by and large. Certain assets, certain altcoins are going to move a little more than that. Certain altcoins are going to move a little less than that. Some a lot less, some a lot more. Okay, but it's up to you to read your particular asset. Please don't overgeneralize. Please don't come back and say, oh, you said that altcoins were going to do. There is no such thing. These are indicators. They're general principles. If you want specific analysis for a certain asset, you're going to have to do that analysis, or sign up for crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service. I can help you with that, or find somebody else that can help you do the analysis so that you can get a more precise and accurate projection for your altcoin, if it even moves, because some altcoins are not going to move, but 10-15%. We've talked about that before. In any case, that is the others. Now, to end the video, instead of looking at Bitcoin dominance, I want to look at OTHERSBTC. So this follows the same reasoning of why I chose to analyze the others chart today. I want to look at something that's more representative of a larger swath of smaller market cap assets. And Bitcoin dominance is great, but again, heavily skewed by the larger market caps in the cryptocurrency space. Again, OTHERSBTC specifically looks at everything outside of the top 10 against Bitcoin. Difference between this and Bitcoin dominance is Bitcoin dominance, we're bullish on altcoins when Bitcoin dominance is moving down. Because this is OTHERSBTC, others is in the numerator, we are expecting others to go up when altcoins are bullish, and vice versa. When it goes down, they're bearish. And by virtue of looking at this, you can already see just how anemic altcoins have been in the cryptocurrency space. There's a lot of, I'll call it gaslighting in this space in on social media by a lot of influencers saying, oh, crypto, the bull run's almost over, the cycle's almost over, it was good. If you didn't make your money, then you just did it wrong. Well, I've been telling my clients nothing's happened. We literally haven't done anything yet. The bull market hasn't even started. Who's correct? Well, we'll soon find out, number one. Number two, looking at this OTHERSBTC chart, it's quite clear. Again, OTHERSBTC means altcoins are outdoing Bitcoin. They're outperforming Bitcoin once it goes up. You can see for the past 1,500 plus days. 1,500, not 500, not 1,000, 1,500 plus days. If you've been invested in altcoins, generally speaking, by the numbers, on the balance of probability, you haven't done anything. You've done nothing. Absolutely nothing. If anything, you've gone down in value. You've lost money for 1,500 days. It's clear as day on this chart. Good news. That's over, as this is a complete WXY flat correction. It's complete. Of course, after every big move, and this is the impulse, that the Y, right? Finalizing the corrective pattern, you do expect some level of consolidation. You have to get it. It might be like this. The consolidation might look like this. Probably going to look like that or something like that. But you're going to have to get consolidation for you to really, really fly. But again, this is a simple indicator, meaning it's not representative of the specific altcoins you're in. You still have certain altcoins that are quite bearish right now, that are out of the top 10, that are heavily skewing this because they're high market cap. Okay? So just keep that in mind. But generally speaking, even on the smaller time frames, on the daily time frame, even if you can say we still have to do consolidation before we really fly, on the smaller time, just daily time frame, you can call that small with respect to the weekly, you should expect a move up. You should expect a move up. And I would say this, in the immediate short term, once again, you can see that we're at resistance here, okay? But the price action is forming a rounded bottom, bullish reversal pattern in the form of an inverse head and shoulders. We see it all the time, and breaking the neckline. So in the immediate short term, we expect at the very least a move, usually a measured move, and I have that measured move and I have an alarm there, taking OTHERSBTC up to at the very least this level, after which we do expect a retracement, right? Why? Because these inverse head and shoulders, they break out, they have to retest. That is what I'm seeing on the daily time frame for OTHERSBTC, and so I do expect something like this before continuation. Does that mean you're going to have to wait years before altcoins start doing well? Again, no. We can look more specifically at specific altcoins and see that that's not the case, but OTHERSBTC is going to reflect that again, because it is a limited indicator that generalizes tens of thousands of altcoins in one chart. So that's my analysis for the day. Hope this was helpful, useful. Like, share, and subscribe if you got value. Consider joining my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, where I help you trade a portfolio of up to 5 altcoins. I help you first choose altcoins that are actually going to pump in the bull market, and not ones that are going to go down because they're at resistance. Because there are some altcoins that, even as we're talking about being bullish on a lot of altcoins. There are some altcoins that are going to move a little bit this weekend and then go down a lot more than most people think. So we help you pick altcoins that are actually going to be bullish in alt season as everything pumps, and maximize your portfolio by identifying key levels of support and resistance to buy and sell at, and then reallocate. All right. So we talk about that. We talk about risk management. We talk about a lot of things. It's really fun. Really appreciate the group that I have now, and just looking forward to growing. So yeah, that you can sign up to at the pinned comment below. If you're not interested in trading a portfolio with me, you're just interested in getting my views, my opinion on a single asset. It's a more affordable option, and it's just a off the cuff one off. The single asset analysis service, just pay $120, and within 24 hours you'll have your analysis. All right, I'll record it and I'll send it to you, and I'll even answer a couple questions through email. So that you can also find details about at the pinned comment below. And last but not least, my exchange partner BTCC is offering 10% cash back on new deposits, minimum 500 USDT or the equivalent. All you have to do, deposit the 500 USDT or equivalent, and put it on the exchange. Make one trade, either spot or leverage, wait a week and get your cash back. Maximum rebate, maximum cash back is $10,000. That's for a $100,000 deposit. That's it for me, guys. Take care. Bye.
I vocalize, too deep to localize, even when I'm right on the surface. You act surprised how I work this, but I can't lie. Many a good alibi. I'll catch you later. Visions are vividly enhanced with emphasis and amethyst to develop morale advantages which help us manifest. Magnanimous, revive your vitals like evangelists. So listen when you're dealing with people who be revealing premonitions with precision. At least that's what I'm aiming at for now. I speak the language of the world, meandering throughout the crowd. Used to feel safe to say anything, but now it's a risk. It's hard for me to let go when all I can do is reminisce. Gone like the wind, here's where I begin.